A technical difficulty somehow.
Yeah. and you're the technical guy. We're live, by the way.
Hey, what's up, people?
We're in the middle of trying to do pre-production, post-production, all that good stuff. And a lot of people have been very excited about this show tonight because I've been doing 18 seasons worth of podcasting, and somehow me and the man on the screen, not Klay Conrad, not to be confused with the old Memphis wrestling announcer, which I bet you know who that is, correct?
Nope.
No. Oh, did I just throw Conrad Thompson a curveball right off the top?
Oh, wow.
When I did Jerry Lawler's show, I kept referring, the reason I was there is that Klay Conrad invited me. And he says, Kenny, Klay Conrad is an obscure Memphis TV announcer that no one knows who is. And then the guy sitting across the table from you is not Klay Conrad. And it was the Lawler's old co-host that got in a little bit of trouble for selling Lawler's artwork and then not delivering it. I'm blanking out on his name. JJ?
Glenn,
yeah. Okay. Just to kick the show, do you know anything about Glenn these days? How's he doing? Have you heard anything from him? Or
no, I haven't heard.
There we go. So that was the running rib, is that everybody that had the name Conrad or Klay was Klay Conrad. And so I was trying to make people think I had Klay Conrad on the show tonight, but we have killed that rumor right off. I thought if anybody would know who Klay Conrad is, that it might be you. If you don't mind me asking, Mr. Conrad, Mr. Thompson, whatever I'm supposed to refer to you as, the king of pod. I claim to be the king of podcasts, but your numbers kill mine. I've just been around a long time. God, JJ, I'm going to let you ask the first question, JJ, because you're the one that actually got him booked tonight.
That was me.
Go.
So, what gave you the idea to do podcasts? Like, what sparked that into you? Like, I need to do this.
I got recruited by Rick to come in and ask fan questions on his first podcast with CBS, and at the end of the show, they liked it and he liked it, and they asked me to come back. And
the Nature Boy Ric Flair, I take it you're talking about.
Yes, sir. So I'm an accidental podcaster. Wasn't my plan.
Hey,
accidental.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of accidents, I'll go to the next one. How did you end up with Bruce Pritchard? Speaking of accidents,
he was a guest on the Ric Flair show, and so was Tony, and so was Kurt Angle, and
right,
so was Tony Schiavone. So I became familiar with all of these guys,
right,
doing the show with Rick because he was doing an interview format, and we just hit it off, and we started to do a little bit of marketing together because he had a background in production, so he could really help me level up with my TV shoots when I was doing mortgage commercials. And at the end of the day, after we did one really long shoot in Nashville, I said, "Hey man, what happened when the Radicals jumped from WCW to the WWF?" And he turned to me, and we're on some random sofa, and told me the whole story for like an hour. And at the end of it, I said, "That's a podcast." And he said, "No, nobody wants to hear that stuff. And besides, you have to have guests." And I said, "No, you don't have to have guests. We could just do what you just did. That's what fans want to hear." And I wore him down, and about 3 weeks later, he agreed to at least just record a pilot with me, and he had fun, and I did too, and we were off.
That is amazing that started out that way. The I got into it on Who's Slamming Who. Do you remember that when they first started Who's Slamming Who? Back around 2008, I guess. Maybe
I wasn't even watching wrestling back then. I was totally.
You're kidding me.
No, I gave it up in January of 2006.
Yeah.
I saw the Punk promo on the day after it happened in Vegas, the pipe bomb one.
Right.
Yeah.
Paying a little more attention, but then I bought a Ric Flair robe on eBay at the end of 2012.
Okay.
By early 13, I was all the way back in. And then I started podcasting with Rick in 2015, and Bruce was in 16, and shit, I'm in too deep now, as you can tell from my background.
You're in a little deep.
Yeah. He's the king of belts right there.
He is the king of belts. And that leads to my next story, because the first time I ever heard of Conrad was through my old ex-buddy, Jimmy Cornette. And you tell me how much of this story's true. I'll believe you. He had a belt that he acquired through a negotiation with me. I won't mention the wrestler that sold it to him because he really wasn't supposed to have it.
Oh, shit.
And the person that he got it from, still to this day, to my knowledge, doesn't know that the belt was purchased from him, ended up in the hands of Jimmy Cornette. Jimmy Cornette thought that belt was real. And then Jimmy Cornette is making a trip to your house. This is the first time I heard your name dropped. And he's going to your house, apparently going to hang out down there for the weekend or whatever, for the sole purpose of you purchasing this belt. And you knew enough about your shit that you explained to him, Jimmy, this is not the real belt. Do you know what belt I'm talking about?
I do, but that's not the actual. He was writing a book at the time with Mark, and Mark James' best friend is Dave Milliken, the belt maker.
Okay.
Yeah.
When they were in town, everybody got together at my house and I cooked us some steaks and we told some old stories.
I heard they were amazing, by the way.
Well, good. Yeah, I appreciate that. I threw them on the big green egg and we had some fun and told some old stories and lied and bullshitted and carried on. And it was a good time. And then, when they actually started talking belt business, I was curious, but it was about a territory that I wasn't familiar with and had no knowledge of. And
right.
I guess they figured out exactly what it was. A deal was made, but maybe it wasn't exactly the deal that Corny was hoping for. But yeah, I think he wound up selling the belt that day, but not to me.
From